All right, let's talk about biotin. You've probably seen it everywhere, right? If you've ever looked for a way to get healthier, thicker hair, you've almost certainly stumbled upon it. It's sold as the go-to supplement. But what's the real story? Does it actually live up to the hype? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. And just to give you a sense of scale here, get a load of this number. By 2031, the global market for hair growth supplements is expected to hit almost $3 billion. That's a huge industry, and you can bet that biotin is one of its star players. So, that brings us to the most important question of all. With all that marketing, with all that money being spent, is there any real science to back it up? It's time to put the hype right up against the actual hard evidence. Okay, first things first. Before we can really talk about whether it helps your hair, we need to understand what biotin even is and what its day job is inside your body. Let's get into the basic science. So biotin, which is also known as vitamin B7, is basically a little helper molecule. Think of it as part of the pit crew for your body's engine. It's a coenzyme, which means it helps other really important enzymes do their jobs right, specifically breaking down the food you eat and turning it into energy. It's absolutely essential for your metabolism. Now, here's the connection to hair that got everyone so excited. One of biotin's key roles is helping to produce keratin. And since your hair is literally 95% keratin, well, you can see how the logic formed. Support keratin production, and you should get better hair, right? This is how it got its reputation as the beauty vitamin. And you know what? There's a real grain of truth to all the hype. There is one very specific, scientifically proven situation where biotin is an absolute game changer for your hair. Let's look at where the idea came from. If a person is truly deficient in biotin, the symptoms are pretty clear. And yes, they definitely include thinning hair and even hair loss. But here's the thing, and it's a big one. An actual biotin deficiency is incredibly rare for most healthy people eating a reasonably balanced diet. And this quote just nails it. It's from a major scientific review, and it says that in cases where people had a real underlying reason for poor hair growth, like a deficiency, giving them biotin worked. It led to clinical improvement. This is the solid piece of evidence that the entire supplement industry was built upon. But what about the rest of us? You know, the huge majority of people who aren't deficient but are just hoping for a little boost for our hair. Now we get to the core of it all. What do the actual studies say about biotin for the general population? This quote from a brand new 2024 journal article really says it all. There is a huge gap between what the public thinks biotin does and what the science actually shows. It's a classic case of hype versus reality. So let's look at the data. When you dig into the research on healthy, non-deficient people, the evidence is, well, it's pretty weak. The best kind of study, a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, found zero significant difference between the group taking biotin and the group taking a sugar pill. Other studies were either designed in ways that could have biases or showed mixed results. For instance, one showed a slight shift in the hair's growth phase, but people's hair density still decreased overall. The bottom line is there's just no strong evidence it works if you're not deficient. So here's the takeaway, laid out plain and simple. The claim you see on the bottle is that biotin is for everyone. The actual evidence says it's only proven to work for that very small group of people who have a diagnosed deficiency or another specific medical condition. Okay, so it might not work for most of us. No big deal, right? Well, not exactly. There's a really important and kind of scary warning that comes with taking these high-dose supplements that most people have no idea about. And this isn't some minor side effect we're talking about. Taking these massive doses of biotin can seriously mess with the results of critical medical lab tests, and that can lead to doctors making the wrong diagnosis, which is a huge risk. So for example, biotin can throw off thyroid hormone tests, making it look like you have a serious condition like Graves' disease when you don't. And even more frightening, it can interfere with troponin tests, the very tests doctors use to see if you're having a heart attack. It can literally hide the biochemical signs of a heart attack. Now, to understand why this happens, just look at the dosage. The amount of biotin you actually need each day is tiny, just 30 micrograms. But the supplements you buy at the store, they often have 5,000, even 10,000 micrograms. That's more than 300 times what you need. It's such an unnaturally high dose that it overwhelms the systems used in lab tests and gives those false readings. So, we've looked at the hype, we've looked at the science, and we've looked at the risks. What's the real takeaway here? What's the smart thing to do if you're worried about your hair? Let's just break it down. 1. Biotin is important, but a deficiency is super rare. 2. For healthy people, there's just no solid proof that taking extra biotin does anything for hair growth. 3. Taking those huge doses can be genuinely risky for your healthcare. And 4. Hair loss is complicated. It's almost never about just one thing. So, instead of just grabbing a bottle of supplements and guessing, the much better approach is to play detective. Start by investigating the most common and much more likely reasons for hair loss.
And guess what? Deficiencies in things like iron, zinc, and vitamin D are way more common culprits for hair thinning than a biotin deficiency. The great thing is, your doctor can check for all of these with a simple blood test. That's a much smarter place to start.
So maybe we should end by flipping the question. Instead of just asking, do I need more biotin, this one heavily marketed vitamin, the better question to ask is, what does my hair and my body really need? Finding the true answer to that is the key to getting healthier hair.